Hi, this is IK. Welcome to from 1 HTTP till 2 HTTP. What are you thinking about? I'm thinking that web start with HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol in early 90, and 10 years later there was a 2 HTTP in one session, that we say like that. What are you thinking about? At first we have a static web page and we have HTTP Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP. And HTTP means browser send request and the server send response. In request, browser asks for address, concrete web page. In response was that web page, entire web page. And that web page coming in browser and we see that web page. Some 10 years later, but we have after some 2, 3, 5 years, I think 95, there was coming PHP, for example, and after that other server scripting, and by form we send data to server, etc. But I spoke about second HTTP. Second HTTP is 10 years after first HTTP, and that second is about take data without take entire load, load entire page, only data. And it was very, very good for user experience, so that only part of the page would be changed. And it is a time when we have HTML HTTP object from Microsoft, and wrap that object would wrap in JavaScript, and we call that Ajax. And after that we have some years later we have jQuery, also around XML HTTP, same object in jQuery. Ajax, jQuery, it was only wrapping around same object that can go in every browser, and jQuery coming with some animation. It was a very popular library. What was useful today, very useful, and some months ago it lose heading in front of new frameworks and JavaScript library. Okay, let's go back. The first HTTP is equal as second HTTP. First HTTP call homepage index.html. We have that in this in React also. At first, when we call our React application, we have loading of this page, index.html. It is like static, like beginning of HTTP, static index.html is homepage, and protocol request response look at for that index.html and loading it in a browser. We have so in JavaScript now, concretely, this index loading in after request, server find it and send like request to browser, and in browser index.html create a document object model. In that moment, what happened after that? After that would be calling of index.js. It is entry point, entry document to React application. And index.js, it is automatically called from index.html. At first we see that script, but now it is in background. And index.js here, now with router 6, there is a root, and here in this index it would be a home page of React application. What would be it? It would be blogs pot menu, blog post menu, blog post menu. It is on app application is called like topic in component 3, and that app there is a child component. Look at in app.js. Here it is, blog post menu left, it is child, and index, again in index.js, let's go back to, and in index calling blog post menu. Again, up, here it's up, there is a child blog post menu left, and here in routing, in index calling blog post menu, it is like this. Home. When we refresh home, at first coming blog post menu left. It is child on app. Okay. After that, we have app.js component. This is this topic component. Okay. After app, we have again blog post menu left. Okay. But at first, what I want to say is that at first we have that right side. It is blog post menu. And blog post left is here. Here is a blog post menu. It is from index routing. And what is in index? It would be home page. And now we see home page. There is this component. Component app, component blog post menu left, component blog post menu. This is right. It is 3 component. And look at here. Blog post menu coming when we see app.js. Look at outlet. Outlet, in that outlet coming blog post menu. It is right side, blog post menu. But when we click on some of the menu left, we have right, we have single post. And that single post go in outlet. In outlet. Single post or blog post menu. Single or blog post menu. Blog post menu coming when it is index, it is homepage, blog post menu. But when we click on something coming blog post. when we click and when we have number, when we have parameter in web address, we have blog post, single post, and it go in outlet. It go in outlet in this React element. Okay, after index.js, index.js was called by index.html, and always from beginning of JavaScript must be first HTML, and after that JavaScript. Here it is first index.html, and after creating a document object model in memory of browser, start calling for index.js. Index.js, there is a root structure, and in that root structure we see how created home page, and that component would be rendering one by one, how we see in the screen, how we can control order of rendering. At first child of app, after that app, and after that part component would go in outlet, in this outlet. It is one time blog post menu and one time single post blog post, we call blog post component. And now is a bit of this video and this title of this video, from first to second HTTP. In every rendering, in every component, during rendering, every component would have some need to contact server only for data, nothing but only for data. And that data in the server, for example, in our is in format JSON. It is one array, and if we need a component what need contact server for data, make it in phase of rendering, and it is second HTTP. This part was at first Ajax. At first it was XML HTTP object, and around that, and the wrap around that was Ajax, we call it, and jQuery, and after that coming something newer. The newest one is Fetch API, and coming library Axios. Axios is also library what is very, very interesting, and here in application I have Fetch and Axios, only for some places Fetch, some places Axios, only that you can compare. That is Axios more simple, but simpler, and simpler, but have more possibility about that in the future in application where we need that possibilities. But now we spoke about HTTP only about data, not page, data, and it is Ajax. We speak about CRUD. It is we speak about verbs. HTTP received, HTTP developers developed. HTTP is developed, but they develop verbs, get, post, put, delete, and by that verbs and HTTP protocol with that verbs get, post, put, delete can create CRUD features that create, read, update and delete data. And that part we have again HTTP request with verbs get, post, put, delete, what we need. It is a second HTTP. HTTP is always the same, but this second HTTP we have that verbs get, post, put, delete. It is very important to bold, emphasize that there is no confusion between HTTP. HTTP is very clear now in this my word. Must be in beginning when request homepage, when request index HTML. I said homepage. Yes, it is in HTTP index.html is homepage, but we know that is only first document object model, and that JavaScript, what application what complete go to browser, that JavaScript have three document object model. In beginning of web, early 90, it was only one home page. It was index.html, and we see complete our index, our home page. But now index.html is only first HTTP protocol, and that document object model in the browser stay all the time execution of and running our React application. And index.html, that document object model, is what we see in source, view source. But I said that after that coming index.js, and after that app component is topic app component, and other component render, and every component what need data. There is HTTP again, HTTP contact address, HTTP protocol, and contact resource on server, and that resource, that data only, take only data, get, post, put, delete, only data, not HTML, etc. And with that verbs get, post, put, delete, it is a type of HTTP protocol. What to do, but it is not alone. There is also with that verbs we have payload. Payload, it is content. When we have get, we won't get like what a payload from server, but when we have post, we must send payload to server, and put also send payload, take and send. Delete means not send payload but send delete, but there is a payload. It is ID, what we delete, ID of that. And it is HTTP what coming 10 years after, that we can only for data. Between that HTTP we have form. By form we send we have get and post object on the server, and by get and by post we send from form, send content to server. By jQuery, by PHP, and by query SQL, we ask what we need from database, and it coming in that process on the server, and we have a content to our in the server would be formed, create a complete web page with data, and send to us in response. But here in what I call second HTTP, with verb get, post, put and delete, it happens every time during running of application, during our interaction with JavaScript application. We always have get, post, put, delete. It depends about our interaction, and we always have request, HTTP request, and always have HTTP response. Okay, I won't bold that differences. HTTP is always HTTP, but there is a difference between at first that HTTP, what calling index.html, and in the HTTP with verbs, get, post, put, delete, and technology would stay around that. Here I ask what I need, teacher, what I need you and my video. It is question, because for example, here in update, I copy this code and said artificial intelligence, set chat GPT, OpenAI, and said code me in fetch API, fetch API, and she called me. Before it was edit, undo. Edit, undo. Look at it was Axios. Here it is. Await Axios put. And HTTP, here it is HTTP. It is HTTP verbs is put, method put, Axios library, put is method, put is that verb what we assign HTTP. It is HTTP request. Axios API request HTTP request put. And that request by HTTP protocol request on that address, request project, request file, post 1, and there is a parameter. It is parameter in that file, it is array. In that array, there is a parameter, it is address, HTTP address, with the parameter with the last destination, it is post 1, and It is file, document, JSON format, and we have a parameter. And because it is put, verbs put, said server to update this post.id, and for update must be payload. Payload is this. It means put, HTTP put request must have HTTP address, web address, complete address, and parameter. Every put must have address, must have parameter that we know what post, concretely, what member of array would be update. And it is interesting in responding when all is okay. Again, same payload. What go to server, get back. Here it is. Get back in response. Get back in response. Why response give us back same content what we send there? We send their address and parameter post ID. But in response, and payload was heading and blog post. From us, from browser, go to from our form, edit form, go to server. But back, we have a payload, all in payload, ID, post ID, heading, and blog post. In response, we have not in response, it is enough that address of server, but in response we have all about payload, ID, heading, and blog post. And with function handle update post and this data in parameter, function will use set function, set state, and it would be set state, it would be created a new state, would be created a new state, would be created a new array with all posts, but one would be different than actually document object model. It is virtual. This data, this happen in virtual document object model, would be changed post what we update, and all other posts would be stay like this. We have same array with one post changed, and it is something new. Set new state, new array in virtual document object model, and that event, that set new state, that event is calling for compare actually document object model with virtual document object model, and that reconciliation, we call that reconciliation. That reconciliation, it is compare, process of compare, called reconciliation. Reconciliation result of reconciliation is, yes, actually document object model is different from virtual document object model, and that moment start rendering of component in which we have changed state. Only that component, not entire pages. Okay, I like to repeat, and it is all about this, but something what I beginning and not end. It is about teaching in time of Open GPT. OpenGPT, I copy this. It is Axios put, and send to OpenGPT, OpenAI GPT, Chat GPT, and said, code me fetch. It is Axios library. Now code me fetch API. Of course, you can ask for difference, fetch API, and difference and Axios, and all that you can ask. All what you want, ask about this, about what you want. And I said, code me in fetch API. And after that, file edit redo. Here it is, fetch. Look, here was Axios, but now is fetch. It is fetch API. And fetch API is really more confused than Axios was. Axios was nothing confused, excellent. But fetch, there is. Here it is, fetch hypertext transfer protocol, same address, same, and parameter post ID. And we have, you see here what we don't have in Axios. Method put. Here is Axios have Axios.put. Here is a method put. Here is after address fetch. There is address and comma. Inside we are inside of it is parameter. First parameter is address. Second is object, curly brackets. Second is object with field, with properties, method, value put. Headers, look at, we must write that headers, it is JSON format, and type like this, copy that, headers. Headers is object, curly brackets, and this is that object. There is properties, content type, and value is application JSON, and there is body properties. Value is JSON string file, and JSON string file is method of JSON, and in that method there is object heading blog post. It is said that in response, look at, we create object here. It is because of asynchron, what we have in Axios also, when we use keyword asynchron and await, we create that object. But here is a declaration of object, what we need, like payload in response. In response, coming to us heading and blog post. We see that here there is no ID, but there is here ID and probably oh, here it is. It must be declared. Look at it, is this object, and now here it is this object. Look at what we have in this object, and this is that object is second parameter. First parameter is address, and this is this object about all these properties is second parameter in fetch. It was simpler, a lot of simpler in Axios, and now we have if about error. Yeah, if response dot OK. Here it is important that OK. If responses is OK, we declare constant updated post. It is our known function. We know about that function. We call about that, and declaration of update post equal this object. Equal this object, and that object, that updated post, go as parameter in handle update post, and that handle update post with have set post. Set post. We can see that in read component. And after set post, we have a new state. And after that new state, created new state, after set post, we have a process of reconciliation. Reconciliation, actual document object model in virtual document object model, and after that virtual document object became actual document object, and if there is no interaction, next time we have same actual document object model, and virtual document object model is same until new interaction and a new data and new state. And else throw a new error. Look at declaration of object error, new error, and this is parameter of error fail to update post. And we will see only this. And about what is error, we send it to console log. In console log we will see that error, and finally set loading false. Set loading is import up, here it is. Look at now, we don't need Axios, we don't need import, because fetch API is inside of React. It is built in React, but Axios we must import. A loader. Here it is, loader. It is from Semantic React stop loader. After that is loading. Here is loading. Is loading is also false true. It is one flag to see animation or don't see animation. And when GPT can code for you, for me, for you, like coding for me, also coding for you. And you don't need me. But it is not true. It is big help to me. I said that 90% I am more productive because I don't need code 1,000 times in my life, million times same and same. It coding chat GPT, but I recording this video, I talk to total beginner, and total beginner don't know what to ask. Total beginner will always need a teacher like me, because it is shortest path. But of course, self-education is starting with internet many years ago, and Chat API give it one big advanced, very comfortable advanced. And beginner also can learn without me and without other teacher, can learn from internet, from social network, ask other people how they beginning, and ask address in the internet how learn. It is explode with the internet. But I will record video until people would be subscribed to it, until people would be listen it, and until people would like it, and people know how what have from my video. And it is one channel for possibility to learn for other people. And I am a learner also. I learn from others' video, and but I learn a lot of learn from Chat GPT, because I don't know ask. And I must say you that last month, when it was I have been start to use, and it exists, I'm very satisfied, very satisfied. Cannot for example, GPT can me, if I ask, give me topic of for React book, give me explain me every topic, and I can have book in 10 minutes. But and I try it, but it is not interesting. It is very boring. You see, my book must be with my word, with my construction, with my, as this video. And it's artificial intelligence, Chat GPT give you excellent response to your excellent answer. But it is like in school. It is like beginner's book, school beginner's book. It is precise, direct, short, and every sentence has something new explanation, sentence by sentence. that is very, very poor, and for understanding you must a lot of know, lot of know. You must a lot of know for speak about detail. Speak about detail. Uh, Artificial is excellent for detail. Excellent, excellent for detail. You ask them why fetch API, why not fetch API, why Axios, but maybe you cannot receive from Chat API responses about two HTTP, like this video is topic. And teacher that kind of live people teacher, live man teaching you, it is big difference than artificial. But I said more and more self-educated people is genius professionals all around the world. Social network, possibility to ask other that help you, all that there is big advances, but also that self-education means that you must read book or listen video what that other people recommend you, and what said you artificial, you must contact other content. Artificial cannot alone nothing, as I cannot alone nothing. You must read a lot of content on the internet, and my video is only part of all that content. And all we in the internet, we are address, we are endpoint, and Chat GPT can nothing without us, without endpoint, without our address, all people who are on the internet. Without them, there is no Chat API. And does teachers, how many percent teachers lose job with? I can't say, but I think that my position, and I like learn total beginners, will not change. Will not change in growing. Thank you for watching this video.